Chester Bennington, the lead vocalist of the famous metal band Linkin Park, not only left behind a different musical legacy but also opened the eyes of millions through his honesty about his struggles with depression and addiction. He is most remembered for his distinctive high-pitched voice that captivated many Linkin Park fans. What made him special is the fact that he achieved success after facing numerous challenges and struggles early in his life. On July 20, 2017, the world lost one of the most iconic voices in modern music when Bennington left us all at the age of 41. Although he has been gone for 7 years now, Bennington's legacy still resonates with his fans. He continues to influence people even though he is no longer physically present. Chester Bennington was born on March 20, 1976, in Phoenix, Arizona, marking the beginning of an amazing musical journey. From his childhood marked by struggles and violence to the peak of his fame as the lead singer of Linkin Park, Bennington traversed various obstacles that shaped his character and artistry. His mother was a nurse, while his father was a police detective who worked in Phoenix, Arizona. Chester Bennington's life struggle was never easy. His parents divorced when he was very young. This condition devastated little Chester. He then lived with his father, who was a police detective. However, that is not a guarantee that Chester can live a better life. He became a victim of sexual abuse at the age of only 7 years. He experienced sexual harassment from an older male friend. He didn't complain to anyone because he didn't want people to think he was gay or a liar. This incident continued until Bennington was 13 years old. Years later, he revealed the perpetrator's identity to his father, but chose not to pursue him after realizing that the perpetrator was also a victim. This affected Chester's mental condition. He often chooses to divert his thoughts by instant means such as consuming alcohol and drugs, something that still makes him fall to his lowest point. However, later he began to get closer to music by idolizing world-class musicians who were members of bands like Stone Temple Pilots. Chester is a young man who is always lonely and his emotions are constantly unstable. Chester tries to understand himself. Activities that make him comfortable are drawing, writing poetry, and also music. Chester's life doesn't get better when he enters Greenway High School in Phoenix. His poor mental condition is expressed through eccentricity in high school. As a result, Chester feels like an outcast. His arrival is not welcomed much. Hoping that school life can make Chester have many friends, he instead experiences a lot of bullying from seniors. The bullying makes him feel like he's being treated like an animal just because he's different. He is often beaten like a rag doll because he is thin and looks different. The mistreatment feels like a daily meal. He can accept physical abuse. However, that doesn't mean the bullying incidents are immediately forgotten in his mind. Chester became proof that being a victim of bullying is not easy. Those memories continued to haunt Chester. Even, the memories of bullying seemed to lead Chester to end his own life on July 20, 2016. The lyrics of the songs "Given Up" and "Heavy" seemed to reflect Chester Bennington's dark life. And in the end, he gave up, dying in an unusual way. He hung himself on the birthday of his friend, Chris Cornell, the vocalist of Soundgarden, who also ended his life in the same way. Chester's body was found at his private home in Palos Verdes Estates, Coroner, Los Angeles, United States, on Thursday, July 20th, around 9 a.m. local time. Chester died at the age of 41 after struggling with drug and alcohol addiction and the depression that haunted his life. He left behind a wife, Talinda and Bentley, and 6 children. According to TMZ's report in 2017, Chester was also said to have attempted suicide in November 2016. At that time, Bennington was able to change his mind and decided to continue his life. Information about the first attempt was obtained from autopsy reports which his wife had always wanted to keep secret. In an interview with Bild, Chester admitted to a very unusual change in his life that occurred on his 41st birthday. This was also noticed by his colleague Mike Shinoda, who said that on his last birthday, instead of celebrating, Chester behaved strangely by staying in bed all day. Chester Bennington was deeply affected by the death of Chris Cornell. When news of Chris Cornell's death spread in May 2017, the music world was shocked and mournful. However, for Chester Bennington, this loss was a profound blow. Bennington, who was a close friend of Cornell, was deeply affected by the sudden departure of the music legend. Chris Cornell, the vocalist of Soundgarden and Audioslave, meant a lot to Bennington. They not only performed together on stage, but also had a strong bond of friendship off stage. Cornell was a mentor and role model for Bennington, who was inspired by his musical talent and integrity as an artist. In the midst of his grief, he spoke openly about how heavy his feelings were at that time. Losing a music icon like Bennington, known for his honesty about struggles with depression and addiction, reminds us of the importance of recognizing warning signs and taking preventive action. The world often responds too slowly or even ignores signs indicating someone is struggling with mental health. Too often, we only realize how serious the situation is when it's too late. Hopefully, there will never be a similar incident like what Chester Bennington experienced. He was a music legend who should have had a better life for his extraordinary works like In the End, Numb, What I've Done, and many more. Rest in peace, Chester Bennington, we all love you.